I thought I would just, I'm putting a few videos on YouTube anyway, so people ask me if you're in a belt group, maybe you've seen some of my stuff. I took the Winged Eagle and put it up on my shelf. I'm waiting for a special kind of material for that. This is 2013 or whatever, scratch logo, and I put that on Water Buffalo. And man, that thing is just, it's just as flexible as can be. It's ready to roll. Now, I try to have complete transparency and honesty and everything. So the edges of this belt are not finished. I don't know how much that comes through the camera. It looks very well. Needs to be rounded, burnished, Resolene, whatever. People finish their corners different ways. This belt will shine a lot more when it has a leather conditioner, or you can put some Duragloss or something on top of it if you're just going to take photographs. Now I've got a ring light over here to try to show off some of this because it's a great material. I mean, it just is. It's got all that. Now why? Because I don't know a lot about stamping and tooling. That's why. So I got a material that I could cut out the belt. I know enough about punching snaps and so forth to tab them out and flip them over and put them in. It's an Amazon snap kit. Here, I'll show you. I've actually bought myself a bunch of different supplies. So the snaps that are in that belt, I think they're $10 at Amazon for 200 pieces or 50 sets. And I bought a bunch of different ones. I even bought some silver ones in case I do something else. Bought a Dremel. Had spent a lot of money. It's like $59. And I got some different attachments and things. And then I do have some Resolene and some dye waiting to go on this bad boy in the near future. So I may edge it off and we'll see what happens. I'm content with the belt as it is. I cannot stress that enough. But I have a lot of scrap leather, so I'm more than happy to give it a go. And in the future, because this Water Buffalo is not manufactured in a way to be stamped, it's actually got the tanning process and the way that it's sealed. Don't leave it to be, et cetera, et cetera. But have a look. I've not even rehearsed this, so I don't know how it looks. But see, it sits right down the back. It's just as loose as could be. It's a great material. A great material. I can't tell you how happy I am with it. I also, the back, if you want to see the back, people have asked about the back. It's raw leather. I didn't finish the back. I have put some, I'll show you what I use. It's in my other videos, but I put Wilson's glove conditioner, and this is a new one, but it's full, but it's Wilson's glove conditioner. It sometimes looks a little different, but it's got some vitamins. It's got the lanolin. Put it on the front of the belt, and it brought a very rich color out of that belt that used to be lighter. Actually, the second one here, I'll turn my camera. You can see some of these other. There's an Andre that's dual gold from FANDU. There is, Winged Eagle straight from the shop. Never been touched as far as modifications. The $1 million belt. This NXT UK is on a red leather, 10-ounce leather, and it's just amazing. It's the same leather this is from, same hide. I just cut two belts out of the same hide. This NXT belt is the exact same hide as that belt. And what can I tell you? It cost a little more to get the Water Buffalo, but what a beautiful deal that is. And it's amateur work, don't get me wrong. These edges are also not finished. They're squared off. There's many places that have some problems that I'm going to need to work out. The snap boxes, I will not promise you, are perfectly symmetrical the way that they could be. What did I do to lay out the snap box? Same thing I did to punch the holes. Took all the plates off the old belt, and I laid the old belt over top of the leather, and then punched right through the holes. For the snap boxes, I took the old belt and laid the snap box part over this, and I punched a nail to mark it for each one, and then I came back and tapped over top of the nail. So it's not an exact science if the nail's a different angle or if you miss it just a little bit. Sometimes it moves. So some of the belts, perhaps this WWE scratch logo I can show you here. I believe the snap box on this one is the one that's kind of funny. Like it fades off to one side. Yeah. You don't know that, a lot of people don't notice things like that, but I do. I did the belt, and if you stare at it for a while, you're going to notice that it's not perfect. And I don't want them to be perfect. I didn't make these to sell. I suppose if somebody asked me for the right price, I would sell it, but it would entail, enough money for me to buy the belt again and the leather again and do all the work again. I probably wouldn't sell it for less than $700 or something. I mean, it's a unique belt. Now, somebody else could make one. I've told you exactly what you need to do. You get you some water buffalo and you go to town. But not everybody can do that, and they would just soon buy it from me because it's already. But it's a unique belt at this point. I've never seen anybody else do any belt on that material. I don't know how much you can see here. Two Backlunds, two WWW. Those are both from FANDU. Great leather. But that's 10-ounce leather from Zach White Leather in Ramsey, North Carolina. I cut it, snapped it, everything. The issue that I run into with FANDU WWWF belts is that this right here is raised up, and the screws in the curvature don't go as far through the leather as they could. Because when it's on that foam strap, it doesn't need to be honest with you. So when I'm putting it through a thicker leather, I ended up having to go get different screws from Lowe's Hardware. You go to your own place, but they have a screw panel at Lowe's, whether it's metric, whether it's American, and you find the right diameter for the screw. Now you know what kind, and then you just need to go buy screws that are the right length. And these are, I think they're called M4.70. That's the one that's in every belt, every WWF belt, every FANDU belt. They all use the same size screw. It's like that M4.70, but they're different depths. And the WWE screws are so short they don't sell them at the store. So what I had to do when I needed a longer one is I just put a washer in there. If you want the flat head screws, like the ones that come on the belts, like these, that come from WWE are a little rounded. I'm sorry, but the FANDU ones are flat. And if you want those, you're going to have to go get those online. I don't think the hardware stores carry those. I was fine using washers and real bolts. I'll show you. It doesn't bother me, but it might bother somebody else. So these actually have washers and longer screws in them, but it's a really, really great leather. It's just as flexible as can be. That's a great belt. And you put some Duragloss on there, you take some pictures, and man, that thing, it's so thick. And it shines. Man, it's nice. Got a great deal on this from a guy in Tennessee, I think. Very, very happy with that belt. And I can't tell you how happy I am with the process of learning how to do some of this stuff. And it's inspired me, right? Because there's another rack of belts in my bedroom, so I think I have a total of 25 now. Bought about 30 something. Father's Day, birthday, something comes around, I buy a belt for somebody. If I have the money to do it, I'm not sitting on a bunch of money, but I'm single and I can do certain stupid things other people don't. I bought several, $100. Bought a WWF Winged Eagle, not from the shop, but for $100 on eBay, and then sent that out to somebody as a gift. And so I'm not out big time money for that, but it's still $100. So it's a nice belt. It's 2mm, whatever I sent them, and that's how it is. So it's just showing off a little bit of that. I will inevitably finish those edges. Put some pictures in Facebook groups, things of that nature. If you know how to find me, Michael Craver on Facebook. New stuff came in the mail, so I think it'll be like $27 maybe. Bret Hart straight from WWE's website. Ooh, got me a hoodie, right? And I was in a mood because it's wrestling season. And yeah, The Rock made wrestling cool again. But he also made everybody think that their damn belt is worth twice as much as it really is. There's belts everywhere. People buy them for $315 and they want to sell them for $315. As if they're never going to, they don't depreciate, or I can't just buy it straight from the source, for the same amount of money you did. And it's never been touched. It's brand new. It's got a warranty or, return policy or whatever else. You got to remember when you're buying belts, some of the stuff that I've done is unique, which is fine. And I suppose I could charge a bunch of money and buy, and then sell them customized or something. I'm not interested in that, to be honest with you. I want my belt to be flexible. Every thing here, except for these FANDU belts, that's the tooled strap with the crocodile backing. It's hard to throw that strap away and re-leather that thing. But sure is a nice belt. It's a big belt too. Let me show you this thing. If you don't own an Andre, you never seen a review video, whatever. This belt, compared to the WWF one, it's bigger. I mean, it's like a lot bigger. It's like dun dun dun. It's dual plated. This is the one straight from FANDU. I think I got it during the Black Friday sale. I own one that's all gold in the bedroom, and that crocodile. Oh man, how do you argue with that? How am I supposed to sit there and say that I need to put this on some other material? Is it really an upgrade? It would be my belt on my material, but the folks at FANDU have done a spectacular job on mastering certain titles. The WWWF is probably my favorite. This one is also a favorite. This video ain't about those titles. And it ain't about edges. I'm thinking, I never do a video, and there ain't going to be many more of these that I'm going to buy. So, we're going to bust out the and we're going to hit the edges. Now, I turn everything at an angle, so you're not penetrating the box very deeply. You can always draw your blade back, and hit it just a little bit. Now, if you hit it just a little bit, the tape will break all the way down. Those of you, if you've never worked on a stocking crew, you never made an honest living and worked at hard stuff that people do when they're putting boxes out so that you can go buy your things at the grocery store or whatever. You learn little things. So here we go. So prop it up. So we've got, it's always packaged well from FANDU. Give me a little bit of styrofoam. Stack it. Boy, that thing's just folded all up in there. But it's protected. Alright, so you guys are going to see the clearer version before I do. I guess I'll see it on the screen here as well. I've got my computer monitor behind me. Oh my goodness. So that's, oh man, that thing's just as, well, it's been sitting, it's been in the summer heat before it got delivered to me. So, boy, look at that. Yeah, you could beat a man to death. Well, it's not thick enough. These belts are thick enough. You could beat a man to death with that belt. I always think of the end of Christmas Vacation. He says, "Mister, I'd beat you with a rubber hose." God, look at this thing. Look at this thing. Have a look at this. Watch this. This is the dual plated. It's the imperfect version. I got it for $289 on the new sale. Got a nameplate. Got my name put on it. And, wow. Now, I know about this. I know about the tooling. It's stamped. We know about the crocodile backing. But it is so flexible. And the detail on this thing, and there's a ton of videos on this stuff, but the detail on this thing is just wild. a buddy of mine it was a birthday present. I said, "You have a dual one?" He said, "I do have a dual one." I said, "Well, I only bought myself a gold one." Now I got both. And the Lux is something that I am obviously thinking about. You got to be. If you're collecting belts, you got to go all the way to the top of the mountain. So a lot of people think that the C4 belt is what you should be going after. That one's got German silver and special gold. Different ones have different etchings in the silver here. So if you're a person who owns each one, I guess you could review those. I'm probably never going to buy a C4 belt. This one's a little smoother, but it's got almost like a texture. The C4 one actually has swirls in the silver. It's a German silver, the way they advertise it. It doesn't shine as much. I mean, look at the globe, man. This FANDU one just can't beat that. And this is out of the box. I have a polishing rag over here. I have all kinds of different methods to make a belt shine. You can put, different Lexol and Duragloss and different things to soften and to kind of spruce up the leather, even temporarily for a photo shoot. I haven't done anything with this thing. I mean, it's just me and just the belt, and we're making friends right out of the box. God, that thing is nice. Have a look at that. I mean, the gold on these belts, it just shines in a very special way. And have a look at it next to the gold of the WWE belts. So the WWE, FANDU. Right. See how much brighter the FANDU belts are? That's it is what it is. The paint is the articulation. The experience is just completely different. We all know about how thick the plates are, the rope around the edges, the detailing. I mean, for the money, I don't know that you can beat this belt for the money because it's $289 a couple of times a year. It's in part of the FANDU spring sale. It's part of the big gold sale that they just had in May, and then it will be part of the Black Friday sale that they run for about 30 days while supplies last. And I tell you to get in there and buy you a belt. And this thing I bought it like 3 days ago. It's already showed up with the custom nameplate, and I could not be happier. I hesitated a lot. I own 24 other belts. Real belts, not mini belts. Big belts. A lot of them have been ReLeathered. Some of them by me. A couple of them down low were done by a friend of mine in Clemens. These are the Premier or the AJ's world titles. Version whatever that looks more like the spinner plate, and then they have the bigger one that looks like the Universal, the shield plate. And those are on 10 ounce top grain leather. Those actually have tooling around the edges. You may see a little bit of that. But I'm very happy with my experience that I've had with FANDU, with Keith, who ReLeathered those belts. He charged me, this is why I'm spoiled, maybe I shouldn't share this information. He was a leather guy, made bags, made all kinds of stuff. And he charged me $125 to ReLeather those belts. $125, $150. I think I gave him $150 because he just didn't want to take my money, but I told him I didn't have anything different. I printed a money order and gave it to him. Got a steal on ReLeathering those belts. Now, I had those ReLeathered in 2014 and 2018. But then when I wanted him to do newer belts, specifically, I have a world title in the antique of this. It's way too heavy. And this is not necessarily, I'm not trying to knock FANDU. It is what it is. They have tremendous manufacturing in plates. Now, this plate is not nearly as heavy as that brass or antique or gold or whatever that the other version is. It's not nearly as heavy. That other belt, on the not tooled strap, the strap is made of a different material that has the bubbles, and it's, that's why you buy the tooled strap. It's why you buy the real leather strap or whatever from FANDU. Spend your money wisely. They offer a discount belt, but you get a discount belt. Buy the tooled strap. Get the crocodile backing. I mean, it's just so beautiful. And the antique belt, the end of that story is, it's so heavy on the strap. You've probably seen people review this. If you were to put it on the shelf, it just falls right off. because the center plate weighs, it's like 70% of the weight of the belt. So just, enjoy your value that you can get from FANDU. There's other places to buy belts. I never tried the other guys. I like what FANDU does for me. I'm loyal to them. This is making buying the Lux Essentials belt, because I may end up putting it on a different leather. And the Lux Essentials comes on this, as far as I know, it comes on this same strap. $5.49. And the Lux has a little more detailing around the globe, around the crown. The wrestlers, the side plates are a little bit squared off, and they have more detail in them too. But, what are you hoping for? What are you really hoping for? And I'm telling you this with what I hope is a lot of credibility behind me. I've gone through, I got a lot of money in belts. Now, I bought most things on sale, and I'll give you a few pointers before I wrap this video up. It's changed. The game of belt collecting has changed drastically because the upswing in business, because of The Rock. Blame Triple H. Blame somebody. You can get that belt for $315 a couple of times a year. It used to be $315 at least twice a month. The scratch logo title, I don't even know if they sell it anymore. But I think I got it for $289. The Andre was like $289. It was like it's more expensive to get the dual gold, but I got it during Black November. The NXT belt I bought from a guy in Charlotte on eBay. I think I paid $150 for it, but it's got some issues. I paid $150 and he didn't tell me there was any issues, but I don't know if it would show up here. In the right setting, under the right light, this gold has you can see it there. At least I think you can. This section here of the gold, is it not going to show up on camera? Yeah, it does. See there? It's got that almost scratch through it. I've never tried to do anything to restore it, to be honest with you. The NXT belt, same way. Some of them I had to put washers because the screws are longer than this Buffalo is. But anyway, I got this for like $150 from a guy on eBay, and I was, thought it was a great belt. But there's so much tooling and stamping and everything else to get it re-leathered by somebody else. The guy I talked to was $300, and I said, no, that's twice what I got in the belt. I'm not paying you that. So I did it myself later. And there's a winged eagle up there, $289 or something. I think the lowest I ever saw it, there was like a day, maybe one day, in the shop where it was like $250, maybe $289 on a great day. It's $300 when they usually have the sale, so it's about $11 difference. Those Backlund belts were, I got a great deal on the nickel one. Guy sold it to me for, I don't know, $200 or something, because he was getting rid of it. And the gold one I bought for like $349. I'm pretty sure it's an imperfect belt for $349. Tax, shipping, everything else brings it to about $400. And the AJ's belts I bought in the $250 price range. They're not more than $300. So I don't have a tremendous amount of money in any one belt. The $1 million belt, same thing. It's like $315, maybe $300 on a great special that they had. Of course, you pay taxes and shipping and everything. You pay like $40 more. Divided into 4 payments. I cannot stress enough to use the 4 payments from PayPal, from Klarna, or Zip, or whatever they use, and do that. But so I never have a great one-time bunch of money tied up in belts. It's 4 payments of $80 for this. It's 4 payments of, I think, like $70 or something for that belt. Maybe the same thing, maybe about $80. And I bought a lot of this stuff over the course of 2 or 3 years. It's not like I just, started dumping money into belts. And you got to be conscious that you're not buying this belt on layaway and then that one and then that one, because those payments, if you buy them inside of that 8-week period where it's charging every 2 weeks, you can trump up some charges that are going to overlap each other, and you're going to see your balance go negative if you're not being conscientious, because this is a hobby that I guess you can get addicted. And I'm glad I waited forever to get this belt, because it's almost like I upgraded up to it. And I have a rule of thumb now. And my rule of thumb is, if the belt will not be in the top 5 in my collection, it's not joining the bunch at this point. I have had aspirations in the past to do the Nakamura U.S. title, the new Intercontinental title, to put them on great leather. I don't know about that. Because you can't buy them for $250, and then I can't, a hide of leather costs me like $140. So I can get 2 or 3 belts out of that. So I'll get $50, $70, $80 in a hide per belt. So if I buy the Intercontinental title for $300 and then ReLeather and supplies, it's going to cost me $400, $450 to put it on something. Where am I going to put it at? Be conscious of what you're doing, the space you're working in, who you are. If you're trying to have a relationship, you're trying to do things to your house, you need to do things to your car. Don't be buying belts when you need to be replacing your alternator or something. Because I know people who've done those kinds of things. And there's that crock backing again. I just, be conscientious. I'm glad to have a belt day. I'm glad to share a few things, talk about edges. I'll probably go through some of that process in the future. But this is more one of those lifestyle kind of videos, right? I'm opening something new, spend a few dollars on a hoodie, and I have a rather unique story here, right? Because I ran out of people that I was willing to pay to ReLeather. There's some good guys out there. They interact with me in the Facebook groups. Hey, man, I'm glad they can make some money doing it. I'm not interested. I'm just not. I have a career. And so this is a hobby. It took me 10 hours per belt, maybe. Maybe not. Cut, punch, snaps, did some leather treatments, lanolin on the back or glove conditioner on the back. Sometimes I'll use Duragloss on the front, to take the pictures or whatever. Most of the time I don't put nothing on there to take the pictures. I sometimes will use like a leather conditioner, and I would tell you don't keep your belts in a lot of direct heat and sunlight and everything else. It'll dry, if you're doing what I'm doing, because it'll dry them out. You need to condition your leather. You need to take care of it. It's not a damn horse saddle. It's not made for that. So yes, if you own a belt and you want it to be floppier, spend your money with FANDU. Find a guy who will do a great ReLeathering job, and it'll be floppy. You can get Pakistani belts that are super floppy. The plates are like, I don't know, they're not as thin as a Q-tip, but the 1 millimeter ones are. The other ones are not any thicker than the head of this Q-tip. They're 2 millimeters. That's how thick the plates are. The FANDU plates are, they're not the same. They're thicker. And when you're ReLeathering them, you have to play certain games, because some of these have feet that punch through the leather. So you have to punch through and then accommodate for the length of the screw. Some of them you don't. There's certain games to be playing if you're going to be doing this yourself. But if you're okay with hardware store screws like I am, you can use whatever leather and whatever screws you want. That's the reality. And I'm learning about doing the edges. Other people have been quite helpful. You can just ask them a question. They'll walk you through it. I can punch up YouTube right here and watch all these guys show you exactly how to take a piece of vegan leather, stain it, stamp it, the works from start to finish. If you just want to know how to burnish the edges, you know how many leather artisans will tell you exactly what to use, how to use it, what dye, what exactly. They'll put links in all the descriptions. You can buy all your own supplies and do your own homework. And from people who make belts, who make all kinds of leather crafts. So if you're watching this and you've stayed all the way through it, I appreciate your time. But I sat down and watched a lot of videos about a lot of different belts and a lot of different details. And what really mattered to me was just getting a close-up picture of, like, this belt, does it shine the way I think it's going to shine? Yes, in the dark right here. If I turn here, I'll play a game here. I'll turn the ring light off for you. The sun is clouded right now, and it still shines in the dark compared to the WWE belts. I mean, it ain't even close. Look at the $1 million belt, which is all gold. It's just not the same kind of paint job from FANDU. And if you think it's a camera trick or the depth of the camera or whatever, it's not. It's not. The WWE gold does not shine the same way. I spend my money with FANDU because of the wonderful things he does. And if you want to go off to see the wizard, you go to FANDUbelts.com and he'll take you right to Oz, baby. Love it. Love it. Love it. I do. I love it. And if you asked me, do I love it more than the work that I put in myself to make this? It's like one of my children. But you can, if you got both of them, you do the Roman Reigns, and you can do the whole. Where's the camera pointing over here? So, you raise them up and do the whole, the whole thing. But they're both floppy. But imagine that I paid $289 to get this kind of etching and everything else. I think right now it's $349. It goes back to retail. You can wait till it's on sale, or you can put it on layaway, do whatever you do. This thing just as floppy as could be. But I've got more than $250, maybe $70 in the belt. The leather itself was $140, and I got 3 belts out of it. I actually have a Universal title downstairs that I made out of it. And it looks amazing. If you're on Facebook, you've seen it. Maybe I'll make a video sometime. But a lot of time, tools, you got to have a place to do it. You can't, if you got neighbors next door, you're in an apartment, a townhouse, whatever. Don't recommend doing any belts because it is noisy as hell trying to punch stuff. So many different holes, so many different snaps and everything. And I think to me it's just super important that you're a good person if you're interacting with other people, whether you're collecting belts or not. So I make it a point to go somewhere quiet. My father actually has space in a shop behind his house where he's allowed me to basically put everything on a piece of plywood on top of a table and then just go to town at that table. And I take my Bluetooth speaker. I can't stress enough. Klein Tools makes the best Bluetooth speaker. It's magnetic. It'll stick to anything metal. The best reception. It's got line in. It's got the whole works. It's like one's $40, one's $70. Klein Tools. But yeah, I'm very. If you're contemplating what to buy and how much to spend and which one to spend, the FANDU belts have the most detail with the best paint job, and they have the best, by far, default leather. Buy the tooled strap, crocodile backing. The other one I can't speak very well of. So I don't buy it. But this is an option on every belt that I know of. So buy it. I own 10 FANDU belts now. 10. I have 3 big golds. I have a dual gold, an all gold, and the antique gold. I have 2 Andres. I have the dual, and I have the all gold Andre, 2 versions. I have 2 versions of the Bruno, the WWWF belt. And then I bought 10. I don't possess 10. I sent a Bruno out to a friend of mine in Michigan. I also sent him a world title and one to a friend in Florida. His son and him had reconnected, and they were going to go to SmackDown, maybe. They were going to a show. And I sent him a belt ahead of time with their name on it, and that is like the pride and joy of they put it on the table and play video games together and bond and watch WWE Network and Peacock or whatever. And belts can mean a lot of things to a lot of people. And Father's Day is coming up. It's a little bit late to be ordering a belt for Father's Day, but I don't know that it's a bad idea. It's a great investment if you break it into 4 payments. Especially if Dad's a wrestling fan. You hang it on the wall, put it on the mantle, put it in the man cave. Whatever it is. But I just wanted to show a little unboxing, show a little bit more of my collection. And if you have questions, I mean, throw them at me, comments, whatever. And if you don't, this video gets like 10 views. It's not going to bother me either. It's therapeutic for me to sit down and kind of attempt to justify spending so much time researching these belts and the money to spend it. And you got to work real hard. I worked a lot of overtime to be able to afford belts. So if you ask me if they're worth it, I don't know. I probably could have upgraded my car or put a nicer fire pit out of the side of the house, bought a better grill, eaten a lot of steak dinners or something. This is what I did. And maybe they'll sit around forever. And that'll be my thing, you know. Who knows? But if it's your thing, hopefully this informational video helped you out a little bit, and maybe I'll make some more in the future, especially once I try to finish. I'm not going to take the plates off. I'm going to finish those belts as they sit. I'm going to do the sanding, the edges, everything else as they sit. And that's probably not recommended by anybody else. But if I did something the right way, what's a good way to say that? The next time I do something the right way will be the first time I do something the right way. So, you guys have yourself a great weekend, or whenever you're watching this. Thank you for spending your time on me.